Hello, this is Dee from the Fishing Gardeners, back at it again. And yeah, I know it's been a while. I've been this busy. You know, life keeps you busy. Life keeps you going. And yeah, that's the reason why I like to do the type of gardening that I do. You know, which is mostly fruit tree gardening, because sometimes, you just don't always have time to get back here and do the things you want. So the type of gardening I do, if I do wind up neglecting it, it takes care of itself. You know, like fruit trees, right? It ain't much you can do with the fruit trees but put the fruit trees down and they just do what they do. You come back and you get nicely surprised of your fruits coming in, and yeah. So, I just like to be mindful of the things that your other responsibilities that you have right along with gardening, because sometimes we have to ignore some of our responsibilities to be in our garden, and then sometimes we don't. So anyway, at the end of the day, I actually like fall gardening more than anything, because that's to me the easier way of gardening vegetables. Okay, because to me the trees kind of slow down, the fruit trees kind of slow down then, and then that's when I will go in with my collard greens, my cabbage. Um, I'll go in there with my carrots and my kale and put it in. And basically that's still a simple way of gardening too. I usually put protection pieces over my veggies, and I go ahead and let them do what they do. So basically that's the type of gardener I am. I don't spend too much time fussing with the garden. I try to make sure that I put a garden in place that I can just come outside and enjoy and don't have to do a lot of work. So that's the way I put the garden together. So when we first put it together, right, it takes, some time to put it together. Right, here's a weed. And then after that, I just let it go and do what it does. So I will spend the time to put the garden together. Then I'll step back and watch it. And I will step in every once in a while to see what needs help. And I try to get stuff like perennials, things that can tolerate heat, drought, cold. That's what I tend to go toward, something like that. So, yeah, the things you see in the garden usually take care of themselves. And a lot of them are drought tolerant. And I don't do a lot of work. I really just don't. So it took work to get the garden together. But the reason why it took me work is because I wanted to make sure that I have a garden that I can come outside, look at, and enjoy, and I don't have to do a whole bunch of work. I don't want to be dreading. Look at this right here, yo. The star fruits coming in. You may want to say why I have these umbrellas over some of my trees. Well, they was getting hit with direct sunlight, and they weren't doing anything. So I took away some of their sunlight, and check this out. This tree was not doing anything. Look at all the flowering that tree's doing now. Sometimes the sunlight hits on the trees so hard that they can't perform and give you the fruits that they need to give you because they're too busy fighting the sun. See, y'all can see that? Yeah. So, this was another little project. This bird bath was given to me. I'm not using it as a bird bath, but I spray painted it. And, I'll put some little decoration in it. But yeah, the dragon fruit, we took all the shading off of all the dragon fruit to let them go ahead and get acclimated to the sun. We got this red lady dwarf papaya right here. She's growing nice in there. I took the shade cloth off of her. Here we go with the Logan. It's my Logan tree. So yeah, basically, see that spider web right there? I don't know if you can see it because of the sun. So we went around to make sure that all the fruit trees are doing what they need to do. And I garden in such a way that, I'll come out here at a certain time. Like, for instance, when it comes to the peach tree and the plum tree, we get our peaches first. Then we go ahead and shape her up for next year. And then we get our plums. And then when they're gone, we shape them up for next year. And we have a lot of open canopy so that sun does get right down inside of it. And that's just some painting that I painted over it. Because it had, to me, little gaps of sap. So I painted it with the pruner, or whatever you want to call it, type of paint. And that helps seal it. So you notice all our trees are actually all pruned the same way. Almost like an upside down umbrella. And look at this right here. Dang, wow, look at Jasmine. So she was in direct sunlight and she wasn't doing nothing. I threw her over here and she's doing everything over here. So yeah, basically just showing you a little something something. That's some pigeon pea I put over here by the guava, because this guava wasn't doing nothing, so she got another chop. When my trees are not doing nothing, I tend to give them another chop, and then they start growing. Look at this right here, yo. Wow. The passion fruit is going crazy, right? So, noticing that, and that right there is the variegated Candy King peppers. I had to chop that down some too. It was going crazy. So, yeah. So, anyway, as far as the passion fruit, right? The passion fruit was going to town, so we wound up adding this piece right here. I don't know if y'all can see it. It's on both sides. And we're going to put a top over it, and the passion fruit continue on. After that, the passion fruit's not going anymore, because it is what it is, right? You get no more. I'm going to chop it from there. Spider webs. I used to come out here on my stick. Spider webs all over the place. You see me swatting. And this is my strawberry patch down here, yo. My strawberry patch. And pigeon peas right there. And, pigeon peas and Cuban beans or whatever. They're actually excellent nitrogen fixers, and it also helps shade my strawberries that don't like heat. So that's that peach tree going on right here. So yeah, I have to give you a full tour of what's going on. Now, I had this right here for 2.5 months. This papaya, it was so tiny. And look how, and remember, I don't know if you remember my last video, but the reason why I put this here by this Java Jacata is because the Java Jacata does not like a lot of direct sunlight. And before I put it in the ground, we had it in a pot in the corner in shade. So I had to put this cloth over it, but I don't like a whole bunch of cloths in the backyard. So I put this papaya, which grows straight down into the ground. I put it there so it could go ahead and take the place of that shade cloth and, shade off that Java Jacata until it grows some more, until it gains some strength. Yes, and I actually put all my blueberries all on one side, and they're growing very well. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and end this video and stop yapping. And yeah, we're still doing our gardening, but my gardening style is to keep things nice and simple, so that I don't have to do a lot of work in my, you don't want the garden to have you feeling like you're at a second job, right? You want your garden to be fruitful, but you also want to get out here and enjoy life. You got other things to do. So, think about that when you're doing your gardening. We're going on 3 years of gardening, and we've learned a whole lot. The main thing I've learned is to make sure I don't do so much to the point where the garden is overwhelming, and that you can also enjoy other hobbies and things that you have to do in life and enjoy your families. So, think about that when you're gardening. Don't overwhelm yourself to the point where you just don't have time for anything else, okay? Just want y'all to think about that. And, your gardening style is your gardening style. But make sure you don't overwhelm yourself, okay? You can always add more to your garden, but try with less and then slowly add, And once you start getting acclimated with gardening, then, you can add more. But, factor in your time, people. Make sure you have time to do all of this, because depending on how you're gardening, it may require a whole lot of time that you may not have. And if you don't have time for that, then that's when you start becoming overwhelmed and your garden start to suffer. So make sure the way you're gardening, you factor in your time. There's a lot of gardening that you can do where you don't have to be out here every day and you have to worry about this and worry about that. And that's why for us, we're mostly fruit tree gardeners. So I will do some veggies, and that's why you see my gardening bed, right? I will do some veggies, but I do veggies that I know I will not be overwhelmed with, right? Because I got a lot of fruit trees in my garden. I have a whole lot of them. So when I do my veggie bed, it's cooler. When my cabbage and collard greens will come out, peppers, and actually I'm gonna do some tomatoes because to me only in Florida, Central Florida, zone 10A, unless they're cherry tomatoes, they don't seem to do too well when it's too hot. So I'll be coming back around in about October with some more tomatoes. And those are all peppers right there. Okay, and I don't pay any attention to these peppers. They just give me peppers. That's it. Okay. So, yes, that's my gardening style. Drop some comments down below of your gardening style. And, let us know what parts of gardening do you enjoy? Do you enjoy more fruits or do you enjoy both? And, how much time do you have to put in your garden each week? Okay? So hopefully you're enjoying your day. Hopefully you had a nice weekend. Have a nice day. Goodbye.